So I will start with Aisha to open the meeting.
Yep.
Okay, Laura. Here. I say yes. Rachel Lazarus. James.
Yes.
Okay, so the meeting is officially open. I'm also bearing in mind people's times, our special guest, her time, and also we have Dave Billow joining us. Thank you so much, Dave, from the Energy and Sustainability Committee. I'm just going to entertain a motion to adjust the agenda so that we take our Waste Zero representative Rachel's presentation first, and then we'll move the review of minutes to second. Anybody want to make that motion?
I make the motion to take Waste Zero representative out of order.
Okay, Rachel Lazarus, you might be on mute.
Yeah.
All right.
I second.
Okay, and I will take the vote on that motion. Aisha?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
I vote yes. Rachel?
Yes. And Janet's here now.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Janet. Thanks for joining us. All right, we have a good turnout.
Sorry.
So excited
Someone
about
hid
this.
my laptop on me. My grandson was here.
Not a problem, not a problem. All right, so we've taken the vote to we're just gonna adjust the agenda slightly and start with our representative, who I'm very happy to welcome, Rachel Virgin, who was joining us remotely from, is it Waste Zero or Zero Waste? Did I get it backwards?
Waste Zero.
Okay,
It's in
that's what I
alphabetical
thought.
order.
Okay.
WNZ.
I like it. That's how I put it in the agenda. So I'm glad I did not make a mistake. So Rachel and I had a great conversation several days ago. Very happy to get her on the agenda. And she is working with the town with a proposal regarding solid waste. And she has got a presentation to give to us. And after that, I will, open it up obviously to questions and public comment. So I guess take it away, Rachel. We're excited to hear what's been going on.
Thank you so much. I wonder, actually, before we jump into the meat of it, would you guys be willing to just go around the table here and say 15 seconds about who you are and what you're all about as I get to know you? Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So Janet, do you want to go first? I'm sort of going clockwise by what my view is.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm Janet Weinstein. I'm just a resident at the moment. I have done teaching and I've done a lot of other things, volunteering in the town, and I'm very much interested in climate and the conditions. So I'm just trying to get involved.
Great.
Excellent. And Dave, introduce yourself, even though you're not on the committee, if you'd like to.
Sure. Thank you. I'm Dave Billow. I'm the current chair of the Stoughton Energy and Sustainability Committee. So very interested in this topic. And got a heads up from Molly that tonight would be a meeting to tune into. So happy to be here.
Thank you.
All right. Aisha?
Hi, I'm Aisha. I'm a regional environmental health and safety coordinator for an organization, a very big media corporation. I did not want to mention just for the class that is involved, but I'm into environmental health and safety. I'm really looking forward to hear from you today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Laura?
Hi, I'm a resident of Stoughton. I've got 2 kids in the school system. I'm a town meeting member and used to be on finance committee. So been really interested in learning more about the town, and also very interested in this climate action committee. I have a degree in environmental health sciences, focused mainly on public health. And I currently work in oncology for a small biotech company doing cellular therapy for rare cancers.
Thanks. I'm Molly Concord. I do not have any scientific degree or background, so it's all learning curve for me. I'm just a lawyer and very interested for a long time in all sorts of sustainability issues, and very happy with the team that we've been able to assemble here in Stoughton to try to really work out a climate action plan.
What type of law do you practice, Molly?
I sue people. So
Sounds good.
I'm a litigation attorney, but not in business litigation, employment litigation, and also families fighting over money, just like the Murdochs, only on a much smaller scale. So
I have a friend who's an estate lawyer So it's very similar.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm Rachel Lazarus. I'm secretary of the Climate Action Plan Committee. I'm also on the library trustees, and I'm a researcher, kind of freelance, and I'm working on some programs for the town, and solid waste is one of them. So
Cool.
Last but not least is James, who has a very important role.
Well, thank you very much, Molly. I'm a 37-year employee of the town of Stoughton. 20 of those years I was with the Board of Health agent, health inspector, where I was involved with on-site sewage disposal facility design, review, implementation, restaurant inspections, swimming pool inspections, massage inspections. And then the last 17 years, I've been the environmental affairs officer, responsible for coordinating hazardous waste collection days, coordinating our municipal composting distribution program and rain barrel sales. And so, if anything, that's enough.
Great. Well, thank you. Okay, I can introduce myself. Actually, I'll have Tori. So my colleague Tori is joining us tonight. Tori, would you say just a thing or two about yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Tori. I live in Connecticut. This is fun for me because I'm also on my town's sustainability commission. So this is kind of like deja vu with all of you all, meeting you all. But I work with Rachel, and I do a lot of on the ground program coordination. So if you choose to move forward and Stoughton wants to give something innovative a try, I'll be probably working closely alongside of you all and kicking it off.
Thanks, Tori. Okay, Molly, we're
all set to go.
Set to sail. Okay. So I am Rachel Virgin. I work for Waste Zero. I work with Tori. And I chaired my town's waste working group as part of our sustainability commission. And I liked the work so much that I decided to do it as a job. So I kind of came in through the side door to Waste Zero. We had worked with Waste Zero really extensively. There's been a lot of pilot programs that have just wrapped up in Connecticut over the last 2 years through our Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. And there were 15 pilot programs of pay-as-you-throw or unit-based pricing. There's so many names for it. And so my town was one of those towns, and we worked really hard to do a lot of education. My professional background is in education and performance, actually. I'm a concert violinist, nights and weekends.
Wow.
So I really have always been a passionate environmentalist, and trash really bothers me, and how we manage our trash in this country. And so I'm really excited to be here tonight. And I feel most at home with a climate action committee or an environmental sustainability commission. So thank you for welcoming me here, and I'm really excited to share. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, where's the button? Okay, here we go. Tell me okay, share this screen. Okay, are you seeing?
Yes, we are.
Oops, okay. All right. So I'm just going to take you through this. This is about a 20 minute walkthrough. And then we'll do Q&A at the end. Tori can help with that if she wants. So this is a program we're calling Pay Your Way. It's basically pay as you throw with a choice element. That's a good way of thinking about it. It meets people where they are. People have all sorts of different, I think sometimes very legitimate reasons for this is not the right year to think about overhauling how they do trash at their house. So this recognizes that and allows people who are ready to move forward, and people who are not ready, they can do the trash program they've been doing all these years, but it does allow that choice. So I don't know if we're going to keep the by the bag and by the bin, but I left it in for tonight just in case. But it's a way of thinking about it where you've got these two different contingencies that are paying differently for their trash. I know that this is preaching to the choir here. But I'll just share what I share always with people, that the way that we're doing waste is not sustainable. I like to think of it in terms of 3 E's: economics, environment, and equity. The harms are tremendous. I don't need to spend a lot of time on that, I'm pretty sure here. Statewide. So I developed this graphic just to have a little bit of a reality check with parties who have not noticed that this was where Massachusetts was in the 1980s as far as landfill capacity. Here's where we are now. So the facilities have aged out, they have filled up. It is very difficult to permit and site new facilities. Occasionally, a pocket will open up, like they'll permit an opening of a little pocket in a facility, but we are in a place where we have to do something very, very quickly to change our behavior, change our systems and our society here. I've been doing a lot of work in Maryland, actually, and when I show them the graphic, so Connecticut and Massachusetts are uniquely out of space, even regionally, even the rest of New England, New York, and then down into the mid-Atlantic. It's Connecticut and Massachusetts that are feeling the squeeze the most. And so when I show them these, they can't even really think of what it would be like to live in a state where we really don't have any disposal really to speak of. I mean, I'll take you through some more numbers in a second, but it's just a pretty drastic reduction over the last, 40 years. Of course, Massachusetts has waste to energy facilities, incineration, combustion. So that is where 87% of the waste that is processed in state is being processed. The other 13% is landfill. But again, I'm sure I don't need to tell you of the harms to our health, the transportation involved, the climate change aspects of incineration. I'm not saying that landfill is better. I'm just saying shifting it from one thing to another is not a long-term strategy here. 49% of the waste that Massachusetts generates is being sent out of state. This is breathtaking to me. I live in Connecticut, obviously, right next door. I kind of want to show you. Can I jump over to one other deck for a second? Because I want to show you this other photo that I took on my own highway. Where
Rachel,
is
you'll
it?
be sharing these slides, right?
I will.
Thank you. This is so great already.
Oh man, is my photo not here? I wanted to share, here it is. Okay. This photo right here is, so this graphic, I updated it for Maryland to get the picture of Connecticut and Massachusetts together, because we are the two that are really sending half of our trash to other places. So Connecticut's number is 40%, Massachusetts 49%. I took this photo right here, MSW, Municipal Solid Waste. This is like 2 minutes from my house. You see the local school bus right there in the left on the highway. And it's a visceral, it's horrific. Like my kids were in the car with me. It's just, showing them that is our trash being baled and then being shipped right down the highway, right next to the exit for our house. This stuff is moving through our towns right alongside all of us and all of our school children and everything. And it's shocking and it's horrifying. So I should add this slide into your deck, and I will do that before I send it. So I'm going to jump back over to this one now. Thanks for bearing with me on that. I forgot that was not in here. Okay. Here's a graphic that I developed to show a side-by-side of the communities in Massachusetts that are doing pay-as-you-throw and those who are not doing pay-as-you-throw. And just in case anybody on this call is not familiar with the term pay-as-you-throw, the concept is that you pay for your trash with the purchase of each trash bag. So it's a couple dollars or $1.50 or something in that range to buy the special trash bags, but that price is paying for the disposal of the trash as well as the collection. And so pay as you throw communities just have such a higher awareness of the waste that they create because it's just that little behavioral psychology. Every time they reach for that trash bag, they know they're paying for it. See, in my community, our trash is, our fees are invisible to almost all of our residents. I think it's like magic to them that the truck just comes on Tuesday and like it just takes it away and then it just disappears and we have a nice clean street again. And it's just, the way that we pay for trash really matters because when you're missing that price point, you're missing that awareness and that recognition. And it's strange because all other utilities that I can think of, we pay for what we use. If we use more Wi-Fi, we pay for more Wi-Fi. If my kids leave the hose on, we're going to pay a higher water bill. If we don't turn off the lights, I mean, all these things, all these utilities are not just split the difference with my neighbors and I. We pay for what we use. And so this program is a really powerful incentive for people to be more thoughtful about their trash. So the Massachusetts on the top, those communities are throwing half or less, sometimes a third the amount of trash as their side-by-side neighbors. Now there's some variation you can see in the lower left corner, but by and large, and Stoughton is right there, throwing almost between 2 and 3 times as much trash as towns right around you. So it's pretty powerful.
It's the externality because we're not seeing the cost of it. So
Sure.
It's not priced into how we think of trash. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, time for a different approach. So there are different ways to manage trash. We have pay as you throw, which we've just touched on. We have flat fees, which they're convenient, but they don't make sense. There are variable rate cards. There are different ways to do this. We kind of took the best elements of all these different programs and have combined it into a new program that we're calling Pay Your Way. So what it is you've got that pay as you throw element, which is what we've talked about. You pay by the bag. It is the fastest, fairest way to reduce waste. It permanently and almost instantly reduces waste by almost half. And I'll show you some more statistics about that in a second, but it's just that psychology. It's just that little bit of thoughtfulness makes people remember to put the milk carton in the recycle bin instead of just in the trash. Or maybe if they have a milkman service available, maybe they do that instead or whatever they do, but it is powerful and people very quickly change their behavior. The flat fees it's very convenient, and that's how Stoughton's model is right now. You've got the senior discount, but it seems flat and stable, and then you have these big lurches forward, like the increase by 30% in 2023, which is a shock, and it's hard for people, especially when they don't feel like they have any choice in the matter. Now, I try really hard. I could be better, but I do try very hard to throw very little waste. And my kids and my husband, we really try. And so we don't throw very much at all. And it's just so fundamentally unfair to be locked in to paying the costs of people who don't try. I'm happy to pay for public schools. I'm happy to pay, but trash is not a public good. Trash is a public bad. And so the way that we pay for it really does matter. Variable rate carts are where some municipalities have large carts and then medium carts and then small carts. Some do it this way. There are some issues with that, but one thing that we really liked about it is that you can see on the street that people have that some people do it, throw more trash, and some people throw less. Like in my town, everybody has the big 96-gallon cart. Nobody can see how much trash is inside unless it's spilling open. But the variable rate carts do show you that, oh, well, that's a family of 5 next door, and wow, they have a little cart. So there's a little bit of, it's not shaming as much as just awareness, just a little awareness that maybe if they can do it, maybe I don't need to be making so much waste.
Mm.
So we took some of those elements and combined them into this new program. That's kind of it's a hybrid program or a 2-track program where what you do is you're allowing the people who have been paying their flat rate to continue paying their flat rate. So that's by the bin. They just pay by, they just have their bin and they just do their thing. Now I know that Stoughton doesn't mandate bins, so that is part of why we might take this out, but at least for tonight. But anyways, by the bag, the idea is that you lower the trash fee pretty substantially. You can't completely eliminate it for those who want to do the bag program, because you still have to fund your public works. Like they still have to come and pick up the trash, which does cost money, but you substantially lower it by a couple $100. And then you pay by the bag after that. And if you throw less, you pay less. And so that's how it works out. And so it's just that differentiation. Again, it's about choice, not conflict. We live in such a tough time. I don't need to tell anybody that politically. We just feel that it's so important that we find ways to keep taking steps forward on sustainability, even though we are not all going to be singing from the same choir book. It's just, we still have to find a way to allow for progress, instead of like what happened in Stoughton 2 years ago, which is where they tried to, have the whole town do pay as you throw, and a few angry voices tanked it for the whole town, and then it was off the table. And so again, this is just a way to allow for those who are ready and are supportive to take that step and to pay their fair share. Like they don't have to pay for those that are throwing more trash. The opt-out option is so important. We're going to be in Stoughton on Wednesday. Tori and I, we're discussing whether this should look like an opt-in or an opt-out for Stoughton. That'll ultimately be up to Stoughton if this program is an opt-in or an opt-out. But at least we're looking to pilot this program in a neighborhood, and we're working out those details. But anyway, these are broad concepts I just wanted to share with your committees tonight. Well, your committee and then the representative from the other committee. So so that you have just some sense of what we're talking about here. So we've talked about if you throw less, you pay less. These are sort of some sample numbers for how much the bags would cost. Again, it's completely up to Stoughton. You've got Paul Jaffune, your Department of Public Works chair head, and he, and in consultation with Manager Coulter, and they will determine, and we've modeled out a cost analysis for them, but it's up to Stoughton to decide what the bags should cost. But that is the concept: is that you let the bag people come down in their fee and then pay by the bag as you go. It's fair. Most of our waste can be diverted. It can be composted, donated, recycled. And we don't need to subsidize those who don't. These are some, I think, really interesting statistics from other places in Massachusetts. You can see, so the blue is before pay as you throw, and the green is as soon as it was turned on, it's just like an immediate drop, and it's sustained. 42% trash reduction in Plymouth, 46 in Heath, and 40% in Brewster. Okay, on the other side, the people that are just going to keep doing the traditional, they're going to opt out of this new program. They have their same or maybe a little higher fee, but they can just, maybe they're going through a lot this year. Maybe it's just not the right, just whatever reason it is, they can just do what they've been doing, and they don't need to feel threatened by this new system. The only thing is that they do have to have a sticker on a bin of some sort, so that when the truck comes along, that the people who manage the collection can tell that they have paid their higher rate. But we're working on that with the DPW department, and we'll get that all sorted out. So those are more details on the operational side. But also we're talking about at the town level, imposing what's called an overflow limit, where if you're going to be, even for these all-you-can-eat buffet residents, they are limited to 3 large bags or 5 small bags a week. You can't have literally all you can eat. I mean, you do vomit at some point, right? Like, there's a limit to what you can reasonably do. And that if they succeed that, like, let's say people are cleaning out their basement or whatever, they can buy a pay-as-you-throw bag as an overflow bag. So that's the concept when we talk about overflow and what that might look like for Stoughton. So again, this is a great program, or this side of the program is great for people who just need their convenience. They just do their thing. It does cost more because it costs more to throw more trash. I don't need to explain that to you. Equipment, transportation, storage, emissions, these are higher costs. So the concept here is just everyone pays for what they use. We're very committed to honoring the senior discount that is already built into the program. And so the program is being designed around that as well. And it's also not meant to be a revenue driver for the town. Usually, often they are set up to be an enterprise fund model, where the proceeds from the bags and everything is just in a closed system that funds the trash, and it doesn't, like, it's not contributing to the tax base or the tax amount generally. So it's a nice closed system that people can feel a little better about. We've talked a little, we are working and designing the enforcement, what that exactly would look like, but we've talked about the 3-bag limit. And how, we will set up the back end so that we know that people who are going to do the all you can eat, they need to pay for that. Just quickly here, Malden, Mass. This was before my time at Waste Zero a couple of years ago in that meeting with pitchforks. I sounded kind of tense 2 years ago. I know what that's like because we've had those pitchfork meetings in West Hartford as well. So I know what those feel like. But apparently people were saying, couldn't we do it like Malden? Because they do a hybrid program. They let the people who want to do the pay as you throw, they let them do that. And those who don't have the sticker, and there's the sticker and what it looks like. So it's interesting that 2/3 of their residents choose the bags. And they've been really happy with the program. This is the last portion, just saying that, as a company, Waste Zero, we're really committed to being long-term partners with Stoughton. We provide the bags, we provide the program design, we provide the waste audits, we measure your contamination. A lot of times people have concerns about, well, are people going to cheat? Are people going to put more stuff in their recycling than they should so they don't have to pay for more trash bags? Like, we're here for all of that. Satisfaction surveys. We have a lot of faith in these programs. They're very successful in terms of reducing waste, but we want them to be a good experience for people as well. And so we provide all of that. Just again, we're not going to get stuck because of political disagreements. We allow for these 2 lanes in order to eliminate that political friction. Residents save money. You're in the process of modernizing your waste management system, and you get to take a huge step forward on sustainability. And it's just fair. This is a fair way to do this. And so that is what we offer. We've been doing this for 30 years. This is not our first rodeo, especially in Massachusetts, where like half of towns and cities are already doing it. So I'll just leave you with that. Let me go back. How do I stop my share? Stop sharing. Okay.
I have several questions.
Sure.
Sorry, Molly, did you want to go first?
I actually don't want to go first, and I'm also not obviously very good at seeing if other people have raised hands. If nobody immediately has a raised hand, let's let Rachel go. And then I might defer to Dave Billow, who's our special guest from the other committee. If he
do you want me to respond at all, or do you want me to just? Oh,
I have questions for you.
Okay.
Yes.
You are the
okay?
Rachel. Yes.
Okay.
So my first question is, what do you do about like oversized trash? Would that stay about the same? Like say that I'm getting rid of a table Still have to call DPW. That'll be it.
Yeah, I think that the bulky waste, that's called
Okay.
bulky waste, and that will be handled. I know that you did not used to have bulky waste in Stoughton, and then now there is a bulky waste program where you call and
Yeah.
they manage that. It'll be something like, I don't think there's any changes to that
Yeah.
piece of the
If
program.
you present, okay. Dave says he's got to go. Sounds very positive. Hope to hear more. Fingers crossed.
Thanks, David.
You're going to have to repeat that at like basically every meeting, I'm guessing, because that's
Okay.
going to be the number one question. The other one is like, what is the difference between? No, I have two questions I want to ask. One is, do you have problems with people picking too small trash cans, and so that they don't have to pay as much in the variable cart? And is there a guard against that? And like, does that actually cause more people to be letting trash loose in the streets because they're picked a bag that's too small or a bin that's too small for them?
That's a great question. And I should clarify, we are not advocating for variable carts.
Okay.
The piece of the variable carts that we like is just the fact that people have an image on the street of different options, but we're not advocating for variable rate carts. We are advocating for, you use the bags. We like it on your website, it encourages, the Department of Public Works encourages Stoughton residents to get themselves a bin just for, like you're saying, like flyaway litter, also rodents, whatever.
Yeah.
But you don't, currently in Stoughton, you don't have to have a bin. But anyway, that the variable rate carts is not part of this. And I think I might update that as well.
Yeah.
So that's a good question. Thank you.
And my other question is just, what's the difference? Is there going to be like a visible difference between like the pay as you go or flat fee? Like, what is the difference like basically?
The financial difference, the numbers that DPW and the town manager are tossing around. So your trash fee right now is $360 per year. And so it would be right around the same or maybe a little higher. I think it's probably going to land to be about the same for the heavy users. And then it'll come down by, I think where we're talking loosely is 160 will be the new rate for the bag people. And then you just pay by the bag. And the average, so if you do the math, the average family household throws 1.5 trash bags a week, which sounds silly because you're not going to throw out half a trash bag. But over the course of the year, if you do the math, if you do that rate and you have that lower fee, you come out about $30 better at the end of the year. If you reduce more, like we don't throw away 1.5 per week. My family of 4 throws away a half of a like a little one every week, I would say.
I have a baby who's still in toddler who's still in diapers, so that's a lot. Is there a difference between the weight of the bags, or like a small bag is as much as a big bag, or like the paper towel bag is you're not gonna do that, but like a bag that's like mostly very lightweight things is the same as my very heavy diaper bag?
So the measuring cup is the bag size. It's there's not going to be a weight element to this. So you're not penalized for piddly diapers. So
That's a relief.
Yeah.
Let me ask if other people on the committee have questions. James has a question. So James, take it.
Oh, thank you, Molly. Well, thank you, Rachel. It's very interesting. I think it's a program that is successful, and more communities are taking this on. I'm not a Stoughton resident. I live in the town of Dighton, and the price of our bags just went up to $3 a bag. But the town basically told us this is the way it's going to be, and nobody really argued that we all are on the same boat, and we have to deal with our solid waste disposal. And it's been working out very well. But, the idea, I think we need to educate the public. I don't believe the bag should be placed on the ground because, there are problems with rats in town, and rats more than you probably know. But to keep them, in tight in containers with tight fitting covers as well. And that's basically how we handle it in my community, or we do in our family. It's worked out very well. And it's it's reasonable. I'd say it's reasonable to get rid of the solid waste that way. We don't take it for granted, but everyone used to take it for granted when they didn't have to pay by the bag. I think it would succeed. My other question is, my question is, where is the waste transported? Where's it proposed to be transported and how? We have infrastructure in place right now. We're
That's going to fill up.
head and shoulders above other communities. We have our own fleet of trash trucks. And so that will help probably offset some of the costs of transportation. So we're a little bit ahead of the game. So, but anyway, but tell me, how does it work out? Where's the trash transferred?
Right. Well, and so it's been like a month and a half since I had that discussion with Manager Coulter, and I can't quite remember because I've been talking so much to Maryland Department of Public Works, but I do know that he is concerned about the fact that wherever it's going right now is not a long-term, like he's itchy, he's scared about it. So he is looking for ways to reduce the amount that Stoughton is having to deal with. And he is quite concerned about the longevity of the contract, or the capacity to accept that. So, I mean, I don't remember it's a good question, and I will check on that. Where exactly is the contract for Stoughton's trash going? It's likely going to the incinerator near you, but I can double check that.
Well, I know that's the fact now, but I mean, once we're on board with this program, it's going to our waste energy plant in Rochester, Massachusetts, formerly CMAS. We have a contractor with them. We were one of the original stakeholders of that waste energy facility. So we had a very good deal for years. But my question was, now where will our trash go once we are on board with your program?
I don't think that our program changes where the disposal is going. The idea is simply that it changes the billing structure to get that piece of awareness working for residents. And the expectation is that the trash quantity will drop. Now, your recycling is expected to increase. So that is something. But that is not being discussed or built into this program as concurrent with the program. Is like that we're going to suddenly do a new contract process. I think your contract is in place for several more years, and that will run its course.
Okay.
But this is just a really important way to position Stoughton for that time where it will, you'll get to the end of the line here and have to do something different. And I will say also, I know that the town leadership is looking at doing the big carts, the big barrel carts. I don't think it's part of this pilot program, but they are talking about it because it's just part of needing to modernize Stoughton's kind of quaint, actually old fashioned, where the people pick up like from another era. That is, take a picture because it's not going to be there for very much longer. They are discussing going to the carts. So the carts is not part of this pilot program that we're rolling out this spring, but it is on the horizon.
Okay, great. I think Laura had a question.
Yeah. Well, first of all, a comment. I love the expression pitchfork meeting because I just feel like that is so accurate, and I may have to use that. James took one of my questions, but that's okay. My other question is just in your experience when you've implemented this kind of option choice for people, which I do think is really important when you're rolling out anything. If you can offer people options, just psychologically that helps people. But when you've kind of tracked these towns over time, do you start to see like, more and more people going to the bag way? They may start as like, I'm doing it the same old way because that's where I'm comfortable. But over time, do you see them start to shift where the bag people kind of start to grow and you end up with more people doing things that way?
That's a great question. So fun fact, Stoughton would be like the third or fourth of this kind of program happening. So this is a new approach to respond to the political reality that we live in now. So this is not something that has been looked at a lot. So there's Malden, Mass that has been doing it. There is Middletown, Rhode Island that's been doing it for a long time, actually, a couple of decades. And there would be you and Tori. Can you think of another one? That is all that's coming to mind. So this is a bit of a, I mean, it's like, okay, so this is what I said to town manager Coulter the first time I met with him. So we love to cook at my house. We love peaches. My daughter's favorite, so she's just turned 11. She loves peaches so much, but only when they're, from the farmer's market or ripe in the summer. So we make this dessert, and we decided as a family a couple of years ago that it was not worth it to have to make a choice as a person between a peach pie and a peach cobbler and a peach crisp. I mean, why? Like, life is too short for that kind of thing. And so we made a different dessert for Olivia, and we all love it. And it's the crust is the pie crust, and then it's the filling of the cobbler, it's got the crumbly top, it's got the lovely filling, and it's got the crust. And we eat it once a year with abandon, and it's great. But so I guess to answer this, where I'm going with this is, we haven't done very many of these hybrid programs, but like, I've made how many pie crusts in my life? I've made how many, like it, these are not like
kind of,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, this is not like rocket science when we've done Wasty Road manages upwards of 500 pay-as-you-throw programs across the country. It's just not that difficult. So we're pretty confident.
That's great. And Janet, you have a question? Did you raise her hand?
Unmute.
Oh, she's on mute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you said it's starting a pilot program this spring in Stoughton. So obviously you've been talking to them. How is it going to be advertised, or how are we going about getting people to do it? I know we do that with other things, but I don't know that we've changed anything really major in a long time in Stoughton. So, and maybe you've done it with other towns. So maybe how does it go about the promotion?
When Waste Zero gets a new program going, we kind of do everything. So there's going to be door knocking. A lot of people don't like door knocking, so that's not the only thing we're doing, but there will be an element of door knocking. There will be stuff on social media. There will be print flyers, mailers. And then the nice thing is because you guys already pay your bill online, I was going to ask, do any of the water, sewer, trash bills come as paper, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So so there will be then an insert with your paper bill or a little thing on the online portal or something. Like, we're going to make sure that it's coming from multiple angles so that everyone has the chance.
Oh, I thought we also have that Stoughton Courier, whatever that thing is that we get.
Okay.
Which is good.
Have a local
idea.
Shopper,
Yeah,
or
like an update of different things going on in the town.
the crier.
I don't know. Maybe we can say something as well. I don't know.
So I was going to ask if any of you would be willing to partner with us to do, especially that piece of it. We can talk about what that would look like. But in my town, my group partnered with Waste Zero, and we did all sorts of fun stuff. Like, I had so much fun. We had a booth at like every public event all spring. We did, I go on and on. But that was, for me, the most fun part is the outreach. And your town better than I do, and better than anyone. And so we would love to partner with you to do whatever you think would be great.
I suppose it could be at things like school type things and other events like library stuff and
yes. That is a really good point. How does this affect like our school systems and our larger, like non-residential places?
Right. So this program, for starters, is meant and designed for single family and, well, basically anybody who, like, not dumpster community, like not that level of apartment density. So that's how it's designed for now. We hope that it rolls forth to the whole town with time, but this is like the first step that makes sense to get that going. As far as schools, I know that at a town level, Stoughton is coordinating with Mass DEP. They have a representative that has already come together with your town's new publicity person and me and other people. And they're going to be producing TV shows on the community network starting this spring. And they're going to have like Manager Coulter pretend to like not know anything about trash. And it's cute. It's going to be cute. And I know that as part of that and part of the coordination with Mass DEP, they do require that Stoughton get serious about recycling in their schools, which they have not. And so that is part of that. And I think the gears are starting to turn on that as well. So yeah, that's helpful.
And those were great questions, actually, about the schools. It would actually, one would love to see that same pay as you throw option and or requirement for our restaurants, because just by the very nature of them, they must probably, a lot of them have, at least the most obvious things that are easy to recycle, like the aluminum cans of the drinks they sell and stuff like that. And or other things. It would be great to see them pay attention to recycling. And every place, I don't know where I was in the last few days. Oh yeah, someplace in town. And they were serving food, and just almost killed me to see that Coke can in the trash can. Yeah, people need to, the commercial use should be much more careful too about that.
Yeah.
That would be the next step. I honestly think we can weather, there's going to be very much fewer storms in my opinion, with this optional program. And I am hoping that the people who don't opt in end up paying more for their trash, because that's the only way maybe to bringing them to the light. And that's only fair, quite frankly, having, the rest of us have been subsidizing everybody else's trash. And I really think if only you could get people to sit through like a half an hour presentation and discussion. It's just the reality is that we're not in the 1980s anymore. The landfills are filling up. Nobody wants a landfill in their town. Nobody wants to be next to an incinerator. So you can sort of see, we're running out of options, and you have to rethink how to do this. Anybody else have any questions? Aisha, and let me just see if Aisha has any questions or comments before we go back.
Rachel and James have raised their hand.
Well, you've already spoken to, so.
All right. Just Aisha, are you all set? All right. I'll move on to Rachel and then James.
It's really funny that we're saying like, you're not paying enough for your trash, and that's why you have to pay more. Because I've been working with the elementary school, the new elementary school being like, basically seniors should pay for the schools that they're not going to be using directly, because families with young children also pay for seniors. Like, we're all in this together. And now it's basically saying, well, on this, you want it to be a rugged individual, pay for your own trash that way.
So there's exactly. And that's why I say public goods, public bads. Like public goods, yes. Libraries, absolutely. The schools, I mean, I homeschooled my kids. I still want great schools in my town. Like, of course, but there's a difference. There's a difference. There's a difference between public goods and public bads. There's nothing good about trash.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
So we want as little of it as possible.
It's just really hard to tell people, actually, you've been paying way too little in trash tax for all of these years.
It is different.
Absolutely. James, you had a comment too, question?
Oh, yes, I did. Just for clarification, Molly, the town doesn't pick up municipal solid waste from restaurants and businesses. I just wanted to let you know that.
I'm sure I should have known that, but
just for clarification.
Yeah.
They have private contractors manage your solid waste, any number of different companies, and they have their own standards as well and capacity. So the town could never take that on.
Right. I think the other blind spot is, people who live in the larger apartment complexes and condominium complexes, which from what I hear from somebody who is at Greenbrook, one of the large condominium complexes, is like, there's no recycling. Like, if you want to recycle, you have to, or you have to pay some really significant costs, like $50 a month, which doesn't even make sense. Maybe it's because not enough people are doing it. And if the volume were much higher, the fee would be much lower. But that's also sort of like a blind spot in sort of moving the town on sustainability. And then it just gets complicated because it's about whatever the rules or the bylaws do or don't reach those people. And, does that require private voluntary action? And, who's going to get those people to act and sort of change? But
we hope that this is going to be a great first way to catch a lot, like a large quadrant of your town.
Yep.
And just kind of get people thinking and then build from there into all these other very important aspects, you know. But it's a good first step.
Absolutely.
It's a tremendous, I mean, these programs instantly cut the trash in half.
Yeah.
Everywhere they are implemented. I mean, because I mean, I'm no fan of plastic bags, like on principle, you know what I mean? But like, it's about what is the biggest meaningful thing we can do next and then keep working from there. I kind of feel like with the waste crisis, it's like we're hemorrhaging out on the floor of the ER. Like, let's stop the bleeding and then we'll talk about how to get healthy again. But like, we've got to just like intervene. We're so over, and in Connecticut and Massachusetts, we are so beyond where we need to be. So,
well, I'm just going to follow up. You touched on a point about, and I know it got addressed when we had the meeting with the pitchforks 2 years ago, or it was raised, because apparently the people, I always thought you had to put your trash in a plastic bag in your bin, and apparently you didn't before. But since the new regulation, 2 years ago, they required that. I guess my question for you is, would those bags, or would a choice of the pay-as-you-throw bags ever be compostable bags, which I buy now? I will admit they are not the sturdiest thing in the world, but they've been perfectly functional because you just pay attention to the fact that they're a little bit thinner. So you're not going to put like a bunch of wire hangers in there. Not that you would anyways, but you see what I'm saying? You just feel like you're just a little bit aware of what you're putting in and how heavy it gets and how big it is. They're not terribly, but I just wondered if that's going to be an option.
So the answer is yes and no. So yes, that is a thing in other places, but no, it makes no difference to Stoughton because it's just going to the incinerator anyway. Like there's no composting that's going to happen.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't even think that's on the table for discussion, because composting bags make more sense when you're talking about food waste that's going to go to a digester. And then I'm a total fan, but that's just not the conversation that we're having.
Got it.
Right now. Even though I'm again, no, on a philosophical level, I'm not a fan of plastic bags, but again, it's just about taking big steps forward and getting the largest group of town on sort of a, wavelength of, oh, trash is a thing. Like it's a bad thing. Okay.
Yeah.
The first steps.
Absolutely. It's very interesting. And again, the numbers and the reality are very stark and very meaningful. I think we're really glad you're having this discussion and moving forward with this program for the town. I think it's like a wake-up call. Does anybody else have any questions or comments for our special guest speaker? And as I say to everybody, I always love having guest speakers. It's terrific for our committee to have somebody come in. And
thank you so much for having me. It's really great to meet you. Look forward to meeting you soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And again, we look forward to the change, and we look forward to some movement forward on this issue.
Sounds great.
We're very happy. Thanks for your time tonight. And thank you
so much.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
All righty. So it's interesting and exciting, and I love the slide deck. That was great. If we want to move on to review of minutes, Rachel sent us minutes this afternoon. If people want to take a moment and look at those. James, comment?
I have a comment. One correction under page 2, 5, line 1, 2, 3, line 6. The sentence reads, also an effect of climate change, only pipes that were over 60 broke. I'd just say 60 years old.
Oh, that were 60 years old or over.
That's
I'm actually in that same paragraph. If you look at like line 3, I think you start read the first 2 sentences. It seemed like there was like an error there.
And said people were very receptive. Okay, no. Past town meeting. Oh, the past town meeting was the past town meeting with even higher margins. Yeah, I broke up a sentence there.
Okay. All right. So, Anybody else have any thoughts? Or if you need to take a minute, that's okay. We'll take a minute.
Since I'm looking at this on the computer, I didn't print it out. I don't know where the pages are, but I wanted to make sure section 8, I wanted to make sure that I had James's comments correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, Rachel. I was looking at that. I was thinking that maybe that can be tweaked a little bit.
Mhm.
I just requested that we make it known. The Neponset River Watershed Association isn't going to be examining the culverts, but if they're requesting information, just to make it known that we would recommend that they actually have consideration of the culverts, concerning stream crossing standards. That's an ecological consideration when the culverts are
Okay.
reviewed for ecology. That's one of the parameters, one of the 3 parameters that they'll be using to classify the culverts. One is they're going to look at the culverts and they're going to evaluate the flood risk posed by each culvert that's examined, number 1. Number 2, the ecological importance of the stream crossing. And those with a high ecological importance score should be something we would recommend that they consider stream crossing if economically feasible for some of those crossings.
So, I just say, James, ideally, I could draft an email to, I know I get emails from the Neponset Valley Watershed Association, and maybe copy you on a draft email, and just so you're copied on what I try to describe to them as far as what we want. And then if you want to further explain or clarify or whatever, then you're sort of on the email. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it would be, but it'd be better if it's coming from this committee than just me.
Well, it would come from the committee, but I'm going to copy you in case, technically you could, you can just, when she responds, you'll be in the conversation and maybe you can either add to it or whatever, because otherwise it's just a little bit over my head.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, but one more thing I wanted to add. The third parameter in the culvert evaluation process is going to involve the potential impact to the community and environmental justice populations of each culvert that's examined. And that could be with respect to negative impact because of an undersized culvert, flooding, or a culvert that's structurally unsound in an area that would probably need repairing. So that was the third of the 3 parameters. First, flood risk posed by the culvert. 2nd, ecological importance of the stream crossing. 3, potential impact to the community and environmental justice populations. That's 3 parameters that the culverts will be examined for and classified for the prioritization of an upgrade and repair.
All righty. Any other, thank you for clarifying that complex set of considerations that they're looking at. Any other comments potentially or edits to the meeting minutes from February 10th? Hearing none, would somebody like to make a motion to adopt?
I'll make that motion.
All right, let's say we've got a motion and seconded, and I'll vote yes. Janet?
Yes.
Aisha? I think don't hear from her.
Muted.
Rachel? James?
Yes.
And Laura?
Yes.
All right, just checking in, Aisha, I don't know if you can still hear us, just about voting on the minutes. All right, I think we're still good on that. All right, and I'm going to bear in mind the time, so no worries here. Sharon Sustainability Coalition Community Conversations, which we had on February 11th. I attended that.
Oh, yeah, you bet.
I attended that virtually. Did I believe I sent everybody a memo of my minutes, like a memo of a summary of the meeting. Does that sound familiar?
Mhm.
Okay, so that actually happened. It wasn't just my imagination. So I'm not going to go through it again, other than to say, the takeaways are it is really valuable to talk to the surrounding communities and see specifically what they're doing. They're doing some interesting things in schools with respect to composting and also like using. I'm not sure we're even in touch with how much trash the schools generate, but something about reusable dishes. And there's a company that comes and washes the dishes and takes the dishes away and brings them back. I got the impression that, tons of schools otherwise would just throw away enormous amounts of trash. I'm completely out of the loop on that. So that was an interesting consideration. Also interesting, and this I think is very much on point for our climate action plan, is my understanding that there is a employee who works for both the town of Sharon and the town of Norwood as their sustainability director. So again, like a shared position. And I know early on, many months ago, that idea had been floated with respect to me talking to the person from the Canton climate action plan. So I think that's great in the sense that there's a role model out there of that going forward and hopefully working for them. So I definitely think that was valuable. And hopefully, again, we'll continue to have conversations about what they're doing. I will say that Sharon has a very active 501c3. It also has schools with solar panels, solar arrays. It has 2 town committees, one of which is specifically called the Municipal Solar Oversight Committee. So that is something that we can follow up with and learn from them on that. But I will also say, honestly, I think Sharon's coalition said they tried to have this neighbor to neighbor program where they would have people who had already done a lot of things at their household for decarbonizing their house, solar panels, et cetera, and try to roll out a program whereby, they would talk with, anyways, they were saying basically it didn't really work. So, it is hard everywhere, obviously to get some kind of individual action on issues, but that was worthwhile and we will continue to be posted on that. Next, if we have time to look at this, I sent everybody focusing on our next flyer to roll out sometime in March, which was going to focus on solar energy. I did talk to Kathy Stanley, and she told me 2 things. She said that the town is currently getting all of its electricity through renewable sources, schools and town buildings, because they have a memorandum of understanding, an MOU with Brockton and its net metering program. So that I guess Brockton maybe is generating excess renewable energy. So that was really good news. And that was interesting to know. But when I said, so I talked with her about promoting, people and households using community solar. And she said the best way to do that is to just sign up for the community aggregation program and choose the renewable option. So I was able to find that actually pretty quickly. Colonial Power Group is the group that's managing the municipal aggregation, and they have a form directly for Stoughton. They get people type all those words in, they get right to that form, and they just pick optional. And then the second thing about solar panels as the other option, actually have them installed. I actually found, and everybody should really go look at this website, which I've never seen before. It's called Mass CEC, Clean Energy. What's the C stand for? Anyways, if you type this in, this is a fabulous website, which the graphics and the visuals are wonderful. It's about everything that you would want to do as a homeowner or consider doing to decarbonize your house, to move to renewables, to this. And it just covers appliances, your lawnmower, your solar panels, your heat pump. And it's really a great website with resources broken down into all those issues. So I was really happy to see that, and we should certainly make use of that in the future. So that looks like that's the best thing to do if you want to tell people. We're obviously not going to go around recommending a specific company or specific type of arrangement, but here is the state has a great website to introduce you to that. So that's why I linked to that. So that is my proposal of the flyer. Thoughts, comments, suggestions, criticism, I'll take it.
I thought the flyer was very nice. I don't have it with me, but I looked at it quickly this afternoon.
I would just like edit it a little. I like The Sun Always Rises. Always a good thing for a Hemingway reference. I would just say the go-to link is a little bit unclear because everyone thinks of a hyperlink there. So
The problem is the hyperlink thing obviously
mhm.
only works if you're
Mhm.
Yeah.
electronically you click on it. So otherwise, I was trying to actually type out
Yeah.
because these are like flyers or something on
Yeah.
TV. These are like people would have to type out, and like anything else, if you don't type it perfectly, it's still going to come up.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
would just not underlined and choose optional. Like I would break off after the form Stoughton and then line break and don't underline that bit.
So you are correct about that. That makes sense. And since it's not a hype, okay, all right. So you're right. Choose optional should not be underlined. Any other thoughts? Is go to the right thing to say, or should you say see? Or
You don't need the colon, I think.
okay,
And like that's reminding me of like very old school computer programming. Go to colon, but
Like code.
yeah, code.
www.
Very ancient code that was around when I was a small child.
Yeah.
Also,
That I
don't
had to learn
underline
to
or.
say that.
All right. Any other thoughts, comments?
But I think other than that, it's good. It's clean, and that's really effective. I think a lot of things have too much noise on them, so I like the cleanness of this. It's a very clear message to send out.
Okay. Well, great. So that makes it easy. So I will send this out to the powers that be, which is SPS News, Town Crier, Kelsey, who is our new communications manager, SMAC. And then we'll see where it goes. And I remember last time with the last flyer we had, being at the library and seeing it come on the library's TV was actually really exciting. So, and if we end up having an event where we could show up with 50 of these, then we could do that as well. So I guess we could bear that in mind. So that's great. So check for that. Other things that cannot be anticipated, and I probably will send you emails about this as well. So 2 events coming up of interest in case anybody actually wanted to relax on the weekend. We have, Rachel brought this to my attention. Rachel's really out there, like just finding all sorts of stuff. There's a climate event happening right here at Stoughton's Library on the March 22nd from 10 to 12:30. It's called Citizens Climate Lobby. It's something you can sign up for if you type in the word Citizens Climate Lobby in Stoughton, comes right up. You could just quote register. There's obviously no cost. I'm very curious as to what it is. I certainly think that we should be there. I'm totally planning to go there and find out what's up and who might else be showing up. I
have heard of this group before, and what they are training is they're trying to get people who care about the environment to become basically local activists and statewide activists. So
Right.
it's getting people more comfortable with talking to your legislators, et cetera.
Okay. All right. So I think that's good. And then also, interestingly enough, our friends in Sharon are having a film afternoon. I don't know what the documentaries are, but it's on the prior week. So that's March 15th between 1 and 4. And if anybody wants further information of that, or just type in Sharon Sustainability Coalition, I'm sure it's going to be on their website. So I'm very curious. Our other committee, Sustainability Committee, has done a couple of films and had a decent small turnout. And it might be interesting to see what happens in Sharon, what kind of movies they find to show, and if that's something we might want to do as well. So, and also I'd love to talk with some of those Sharon people in person about all their activities and what they're accomplishing. We did not do an MAPC update this time, but we will for our next meeting, which I think I have my calendar here. Well, it's someplace up here it is. So I guess we're going to be in March. Wow. So the next meeting would be Monday, March 10th, which is also a Mass Energize meeting, but I guess I'm not going to make that because we're going to be at our meeting here. So that would be the next meeting. Anybody else have anything else to announce?
I can't make March 10th because I'm going to be in a League of Women Voters roundtable forum
Oh, that's great.
Oh. against Jonah. So
Oh, yes. Well, that's important. You're going to be, all right. So that's important. That's good to know.
and the week before that is the school committee and I believe select board, either select board or town moderator. I'm not sure which ones are which week.
Right.
The
There's
school
other.
committee is the 3rd, so that's also very important to watch.
Okay, absolutely. All right. So we will try to reconvene on the 10th. I believe there's an MAPC meeting this Friday. Rachel, I'll talk with you before that meeting on Friday, give you some updates.
So so are we still meeting on the 10th and I'm just not going to be there?
I think so.
Okay.
Just if that's okay with you. Yeah,
Someone else
I
takes
think
notes.
just to keep it on schedule for purposes of
Okay.
predictability. If obviously if I hear, that a lot of people can't make it, then, we don't want to, we would reschedule. All right. Anything else to add? And, thank you for the great turnout. It was obviously important to have a guest speaker to have such a good turnout. So I think that was very helpful, and hopefully the town's moving in the right direction on that
It was
issue.
very interesting. I'm glad she came.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
glad,
it's really
Thanks very much.
glad everybody joined us. Are we all set? Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. Second. All right. Okay, second. All right. So, James,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Aisha,
Still muted.
are you sure you're there? All right, we missed
I think
Aisha. I'll vote yes. Rachel?
Yes.
Okay, and Janet?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And also thank you again, as always, Rachel, for the minutes, which were very detailed. Appreciated. All right, everybody have a good week and enjoy the slight thaw that we are experiencing. And
You too.
Thank
And,
goodness for global warming. No.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Good. I like that.
Warm up this
all
week.
right,
All right,
have a great
bye
week,
now.
everybody. Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Good night.